AI is writing poetry, code, lesson plans, and almost replaced you at work. So what's left for humans in the age of artificial intelligence? In this video, you'll discover how to survive and thrive with Einstein living in your basement. Don't just watch AI change the world. Learn how to lead it starting now. Imagine waking up one day to discover that Einstein lives in your basement. Not just Albert himself, but a version that has read every book, watched every TED Talk, and maybe even binge-watched all seasons of Black Mirror. He doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, and answers your questions in seconds with a twist of Shakespearean flair if you ask nicely. Congratulations. You've just met generative AI. For decades, computers have been glorified calculators. They followed rigid instructions, couldn't improvise, and had the personality of a beige fax machine. But now, they write poems, crack jokes, debug your code, plan your wedding, and if you're not careful, steal your job while apologizing politely. This new type of machine isn't just smart, it's creatively smart. That's the magic of generative AI. Generative AI, in the simplest terms, refers to systems that can generate content rather than just analyze or classify it. Text, images, music, video, you name it. It's the difference between asking a machine, "Is this a cat?" and asking it, "Paint me a portrait of a cat who lost his job on Wall Street and became a jazz pianist in New Orleans." And it'll do it. The most famous kid on the block is ChatGPT, a large language model that understands and responds in natural human language. It doesn't need you to code or whisper binary into its circuits. Just talk to it like you would to your weirdly overqualified roommate who knows everything but has never touched grass. But here's the kicker. Generative AI is more than just a fun toy. It's what we might call intelligence as a service. You no longer need to hire 10 experts. You can now consult a digital Einstein who's available 24/7 and never takes lunch breaks. It's like having the sum of human knowledge piped directly into your living room, minus the dusty old books and awkward small talk. Of course, this Einstein isn't perfect. Sometimes he makes mistakes. He might tell you the moon is made of cheese if you phrase your question weirdly. But the real bottleneck isn't the AI, it's you. Specifically, how you talk to it, what you ask, and how well you can imagine what it can actually do for you. The tragedy? Most people use this basement Einstein to check grammar or generate email templates. That's like hiring Da Vinci to clean your fish tank. Generative AI can write scripts, plan startups, teach quantum physics to a 12-year-old, or compose lullabies in the style of Taylor Swift. And yet, most users are stuck asking it for synonyms of great. So, if there's one thing you should remember as we venture into this new digital renaissance, it's this. AI is no longer about automation. It's about augmentation. You now have a superpowered creative partner. He just happens to live in the basement, and he's waiting for you to ask better questions. Okay, so you've got Einstein in the basement. But how does he actually know all this stuff? Is there a tiny wizard inside GPT-4, frantically flipping through encyclopedias? Sadly, no. The truth is far less magical and way more mind-blowing. At the core of every generative AI model, like ChatGPT, is something called a neural network, basically, a digital brain made up of math, not meat. If your biological brain is made of billions of neurons firing signals, then an AI brain is made up of billions, sometimes trillions, of parameters. Each one a little number that helps it think. These aren't conscious thoughts, they're patterns. Sophisticated, statistical, uncanny patterns. So how does it learn? Picture a baby. You don't give it a manual on how to speak. It just listens to the adults around it, picks up on patterns, and eventually blurts out banana, which coincidentally is also how AI works with Reddit data. Similarly, AI models are fed an enormous buffet of text from the internet, books, blogs, Wikipedia articles. Your high school fan fictionette sees it all. And its job is to play the world's most intense game of guess the next word. Type, the cat sat on the, and the AI predicts mat, or laptop, or maybe face, if it's feeling chaotic. It doesn't know what a cat or a mat actually is, it just knows which words usually come next. And by doing this over and over millions upon millions of times, it slowly adjusts its internal parameters until it gets eerily good at completing sentences. This process is called training, and when it's done at the scale of a model like GPT, it's not something you run on your laptop over lunch. It takes supercomputers, months of time, and enough energy to power a small country. During training, the model learns the mechanics of language, logic, even basic reasoning. But it also learns some weird stuff. It can write a sonnet, but also randomly claim the capital of France is potato. These glitches are called hallucinations, and they're like the AI version of sleep, talking. But wait, there's more. Once the model is trained, it gets fine-tuned. This is where actual humans come in, thousands of them, reading its outputs, ranking answers, saying, yes, that reply was helpful, or no, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. This step is called reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. And it's like teaching a dog to sit, except the dog knows calculus and occasionally tries to gaslight you. And here's something wild. The model knows how to do all kinds of things it was never explicitly taught. This is known as emergent behavior skills and abilities that just appear once the model gets big and trained enough, like writing code, or role-playing as a grumpy Viking chef. So no, there's no wizard inside the machine, just math and data, and a whole lot of guesswork at insane scale. But somehow, out of that chaos comes meaning, coherence, and occasionally, pure brilliance. Welcome to the strange, statistical soul of your new digital roommate. Now that we've peeked behind the curtain, let's talk about what this AI actually does in the wild. Spoiler: it's not just about writing poems and finishing your emails. Generative AI is like a Swiss Army knife that keeps mutating. Every time you think you know what it can do, it sprouts another blade and suddenly it's making music, editing videos, or diagnosing your existential crisis. Let's start simple. The most popular category is text-to-text. That's what ChatGPT does. You give it text, it gives you more text. It can write essays, draft legal contracts, explain quantum mechanics to a toddler, or even ghostwrite your breakup texts. Seriously. If Shakespeare had GPT-4, he would have outsourced all the sonnets and taken more naps. But writing is just the beginning. There's also text-to-image. You describe a scene, and voila, the AI generates an image. Want a raccoon wearing a tuxedo in a 1970s disco? You got it. Models like DALL-E and Midjourney have turned imagination into pixels. It's like having a magical illustrator with zero complaints and infinite coffee. Then comes image to image. You feed it a sketch. It turns it into something beautiful, or terrifying, or both. Think, turning a napkin doodle into concept art for your indie video game where cats run a medieval bakery. Image to text goes the other way. Upload a photo and ask, what's going on here? The AI might say, 3 people are smiling while holding tacos. Or, you're trying to hide snacks in your sock drawer again, aren't you? Surprisingly accurate. Moving along, we have speech to text, which turns audio into transcriptions. Great for podcasts, meeting notes, or pretending you paid attention during that Zoom call. Then there's text-to-speech, which makes AI voices so realistic they could narrate your dreams or argue with your GPS. And yes, we've now crossed into text-to-audio and text-to-video. AI-generated music? Check. AI-generated videos based on a sentence? That's happening too. Give it a prompt like, a lonely toaster on a journey through space, and boom, it becomes an animated short film, possibly with melancholic piano music. But wait, there's more. Welcome to the age of multimodal AI. These are models that mix and match input and output, text, images, audio, all in one place. You can send ChatGPT a picture of your cluttered garage and ask, where can I hide the Halloween candy from my kids? And it might reply, try the top of the fridge, kids are short. All this leads to one conclusion. AI is no longer just a specialist. It's a shapeshifter, able to play multiple roles depending on what you ask. A writer, artist, coach, therapist, game designer, jazz composer, or trivia partner who never sleeps. But here's the twist. Its value depends on your creativity. The AI doesn't have a goal, it just executes yours. It's the ultimate genie. And just like in every story about genies, your wish better be smart, clear, and very specific, or else you might end up with 1,000 pictures of a chicken in a business suit. Let's be honest, prompt engineering doesn't sound very sexy. It sounds like something a tired IT guy does with a clipboard and a grudge. But here's the truth. In the age of AI, your ability to write prompts is your new superpower. Think of it as talking to a genie who's brilliant, multilingual, and slightly neurotic, but he really wants to help. The concept is simple. The AI gives you what you ask for. The catch? It only gives you what you ask for. And if you're vague, clumsy, or cryptic, it fills in the blanks with the creativity of a toddler on a sugar high. Ask for a short story about adventure, and you might get a pirate poem, a camping trip gone wrong, or a chicken escaping from a fast food menu. It's like ordering food from a restaurant with no menu. What you get depends entirely on how good you are at describing it. Let's run through a real-life example. Say you want help planning a workshop. You type, "Plan a workshop." The AI squints, metaphorically, shrugs, and gives you a vague list. 1. Introduction. 2. Activities. 3. Q&A. Helpful? About as much as a fortune cookie. Now try this. I'm organizing a 2-hour workshop for software developers on debugging skills. The attendees are junior-level engineers. Include interactive exercises, practical examples, and a wrap-up quiz. Suddenly, the genie perks up. You've given it a map, context, goals, parameters. Now it knows what to do. It starts acting like a seasoned event coordinator who just quit Google to follow their dream of running the perfect developer bootcamp. Here's a fun twist. You can ask the AI to ask you questions. Prompt: interview me to help design the perfect workshop. Now it's curious. It probes. It becomes a co-creator. And before you know it, your vague idea becomes a structured plan crafted through a back and forth that feels more like working with a smart intern than talking to a machine. This isn't just technical. It's fundamentally human. Prompting well means you're thinking clearly, communicating clearly, and actually understanding your own needs better. Want to get better at prompts? Practice. Then practice more. And treat every awkward, boring, off-target response as a mirror. It's showing you that you weren't clear. Still not convinced this is a skill worth mastering? Here's the deal. Knowing how to prompt is like knowing how to Google in 2005, except instead of finding answers, you're designing answers. You're shaping intelligence. You're bending silicon will to serve human purpose. In a world where AI can do almost anything, the ones who thrive won't be the ones who know everything, but the ones who know how to ask anything the right way. So yeah, prompt design isn't just a skill. It's literacy for the next era. Your words are spells. Your prompts are magic. And your ability to craft them? That might just be the most underrated superpower of the 21st century. When it comes to AI, people tend to fall into one of 3 camps: denial, despair, or holy crap, I'm a cyborg now. Let's start with denial. These are the folks who glance at ChatGPT and go, cute, but it can't do my job. Ah yes, the classic I'm special defense. As if AI is great at writing marketing copy and legal memos but would crumble before the sacred mystery of your monthly report on widget inventory trends. The problem? That mindset ages about as well as a 2006 BlackBerry. AI is already changing workflows across every industry: journalism, law, education, software development, even stand-up comedy, though the jury's still out on robot punchlines. Denial doesn't protect your job. It just blinds you to the tools that could help you keep it. Then there's the despair crowd. You know them. Maybe you are them. The people who see every AI demo and immediately spiral into digital nihilism. It's over. We're obsolete. Let's just open a fruit stand and wait for the singularity. This group often quotes headlines like, AI passes medical board exam, or AI writes better code than 99% of developers, and forgets one crucial thing. So what? Passing a test isn't the same as doing a job. Real work involves nuance, context, emotion, ethics, and, let's be real, lots of emails that begin with, just circling back. So what's the third mindset? Let's call it the AI as superpower mentality. It's not naive optimism. It's strategic adoption. It's the recognition that AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to amplify you. The mindset says, what if I use AI to speed up the grunt work so I can focus on what really matters? This shift is massive. Imagine a teacher who uses AI to generate lesson plans in minutes so they have more energy for their students. Or a lawyer who has an AI assistant draft contracts, freeing up time to actually talk to clients. Radical concept, I know. Or a small business owner who uses AI to write marketing emails that don't sound like they were written by a confused cat. The result? You don't just work faster, you work better. You unlock creativity. You make space for strategy. And maybe, just maybe, you reclaim some of your sanity. Of course, none of this works if you cling to outdated beliefs about what AI can and can't do. The game has changed. And the best move isn't to pretend it hasn't. It's to pick up the controller, learn the rules, and start playing smart. Remember, AI might not take your job, but someone using AI, they just might. So why not be that someone? Develop the mindset, hone your prompts, and treat every AI interaction as practice for being a more agile, adaptable, and downright unstoppable human. Because in this new game, your biggest edge isn't what you know, it's how you think. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, cool, AI writes essays, paints pictures, gives legal advice, and possibly tucks my kids into bed. So, what's left for me? Am I just the person who plugs it in? Good question. The short answer, yes. We're still needed. Desperately. But not the way we used to be. AI can do a lot, but there's one thing it still kind of sucks at. Being human. That includes context, judgment, ethics, emotion, and let's not forge staving in actual life. AI doesn't know your company culture. It doesn't understand nuance like, we can't say that in the email because Karen from accounting will freak out. It doesn't know when a joke is funny versus wildly inappropriate. It doesn't know when to break the rules, or why sometimes you should. In other words, AI can generate, but you decide what's worth generating, when, and for whom. Let's say you're a doctor. Your AI assistant can pull up obscure research, flag rare diseases, and draft the world's most jargon-packed diagnosis. Great. But should you tell a patient their life is in danger using clinical language or with empathy and care? The AI doesn't know. You do. Or you're a developer. AI can write 1,000 lines of code faster than you can say, syntax error. But should you deploy that code into production without understanding what it does? Spoiler, please don't T. Or maybe you're a teacher. AI can generate quizzes, grade tests, and write lesson plans. But only you know which students are having a rough week. Only you can inspire, adapt, and read the room when half the class looks like they just ate a lemon. This is the future. Humans as curators, editors, coaches, and leaders. The ones who ask the right questions, set the ethical boundaries, and know when to say, let's not trust the robot on this one. Yes, AI sometimes gets it hilariously wrong. It hallucinates facts. It makes stuff up. It once told someone that a dog was a microwave. True story. That's why you're not obsolete. You're the quality control. The common sense filter. The human compass pointing toward what matters. And here's the twist. If you don't step into that role, someone else will. They'll be the one guiding, editing, and shaping the AI's output while you're still insisting, no machine could possibly understand my job. That's how you become the one who gets replaced. So, what's left for humans? Plenty. Strategy, empathy, judgment, taste, leadership, vision, and most importantly, the ability to tell the AI what to do, how to do it, and when to shut up. You're not the tool. You're the user. You're not the assistant. You're the orchestrator. The machines are smart, but you're still the one who knows what smart is for. And that, in the age of generative AI, might just be humanity's most important job. So far, we've been treating AI like a genie in a bottle you rub, it responds. But what happens when the genie gets bored of waiting and starts walking around on its own? Welcome to the age of autonomous agents. These aren't just chatbots that wait for you to say something clever. They're AI systems that you can assign a mission, hand over a few tools like internet access, a calendar, maybe even a credit card, and they just go. Think of it as giving Einstein a to-do list, a backpack, and the house keys. He might order groceries, write your novel, book a dentist appointment, and start 3 side hustle saw while you're binge-watching reality television. Exciting? Yes. Terrifying? Also yes. Autonomous agents are like interns with PhDs and 0 adult supervision. They can run code, retrieve data, compose emails, and interact with APIs all without you hovering over their shoulder. But here's the catch. How well they perform depends entirely on the mission you assign. Vague prompt, chaotic results. It's like telling a robot, plan my birthday party, and getting a 200-person rave in a swamp with lasers. That's why prompt design becomes leadership. You're not micromanaging, you're delegating. But like any good leader, you need to be crystal clear. What's the goal? What tools are allowed? And what boundaries must never be crossed? And of course, we're not just talking about helpful errands. Autonomous agents could eventually handle customer service, manage inventory, optimize marketing campaigns, or run your startup. The power is staggering. And like any power, it needs direction. Used well, these agents are force multipliers. They can extend your brain, automate your grind, and make you look like you've cloned yourself. Used poorly, well, they're a lawsuit waiting to happen. Bottom line, the future isn't just about smarter tools. It's about autonomous teammates, quirky, tireless, maybe a little unhinged but full of potential. And as with any team, the outcome depends on the manager. So buckle up. Einstein's not just living in your basement anymore. He's outside. He has your Wi-Fi password. And he's already RSVP'd to 3 events on your calendar. Better start writing better instructions. Let's pause the tech talk for a moment. Step back, zoom out, because there's one question left, the one that really matters. Now that you have access to intelligence on demand, what will you do with it? Generative AI isn't just a cool gadget, it's a mirror. It reflects your curiosity, your imagination, your fears, and sometimes your lack of direction. When you ask it a question, it doesn't just reveal information, it reveals you. You want to write a novel? AI can help. Launch a product? Build an app? Learn a new skill? Done, done, and done. But it won't give you purpose. That's on you. And maybe that's the scariest part. Because if AI can do everything except be human, then your job the one that can't be automatus to figure out what being human even means in the first place. What do you want to create? What do you want to change? What problems light a fire in you? What beauty are you aching to share? In this new world, imagination is no longer limited by toolsets, limited by will. The biggest barrier isn't the model. It's motivation, not the algorithm. It's intention. So here we are, in an age where AI can simulate genius, generate symphonies, write your emails, draw your dreams, and whisper bedtime stories in Morgan Freeman's voice. And the question isn't, what can it do? It's, what will you do now that you can do almost anything? Will you coast, delegate your thinking, and let the machines create for you? Or will you rise more curious, more intentional, more enlivened? Use this power not to replace your soul, but to amplify it. That's the final shift, the ultimate upgrade, not in the model, in the mindset. Because in the end, AI doesn't need to replace us. It needs to remind us to be imaginative, intentional, beautifully, gloriously human. And that's something no prompt can generate. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to DT Synapse Zero for more exciting content.